Following the popularity of the achievement system in the Xbox 360, the Xbox One introduced the concept of rare achievements. An achievement is classified as rare if less than 10% of players who played the game managed to collect it. In theory, this would mean that if a player got one of these achievements, then they probably at least picked up a few of the more common achievements as well. This left me wondering, are there games where it's possible to get only rare achievements? This initial thought came to me when I was playing Blue Dragon. For whatever reason, the achievement for getting a single backtack didn't pop. However, later on in the game, the achievement for getting 100 backstacks did. Now, I'm not looking to glitch the achievements anywhere here. I want to see if I can only get rare achievements by playing the game normally. Well, as normally as you can play whilst avoiding all the common stepping stones. Xcom, the alien invasion turn-based strategy game, has a decent mix of achievements tied with both the story and things that players can miss in a normal playthrough. As of July 2020, from the total of 55 achievements in the game, 20 are classified as rare. Our first step is to remove from that 20 any that are impossible to get without also getting a regular achievement. Much like the majority of games, Humanity's Saviour is a regular achievement that a player gets for completing the game. This immediately cuts us off from the following: a Continental Fellow, which is for winning the game in each of the 5 starting locations; Our Finest Hour, beat the game in Impossible difficulty; No Looking Back, beat the game in Iron Man mode on Classic or Impossible difficulty; Ain't No Cavalry Coming, have a soldier survive every mission in a full game; and finally, Earth First, beat the game on Classic difficulty. Next we have Tables Turned. For this all we have to do is shoot down a UFO. Now initially I thought this was going to cause a lot of problems. The first UFO sighting happens very early on in the game, and as far as I've been able to tell in my various playthroughs, it's a scripted event that the UFO is shot down. That said, to my surprise, you can actually skip this initial encounter altogether, meaning that a progression doesn't stop dead here. Never doing this, however, does block us from another 3 rare achievements. Lone Wolf, clear a UFO crash site with 1 soldier on Classic or Impossible difficulty; Shooting Stars, shoot down 40 UFOs; and Hunt a Killer, in a single game, shoot down 1 of each alien craft. Council missions are in a way side missions, and therefore we can simply reject one if it comes up, thus preventing us from getting Happy to Oblige, which is for completing a council request. A blanket ban on council requests, however, will prevent us from getting any of the following: All Aboard, complete Confounding Light with 3 or more turns left on the timer; The Bigger They Are, complete Gangplank; Bait the Hook, complete Confounding Light; and New Friend, complete Friends in Low Places. 3 fairly basic things a player will do in an Xcom campaign come with common achievements. These are building an item, which will get you combat ready; complete a research project, which will get you what wonders await; and building a base facility will get you up and running. Not being allowed to get these 3 achievements will prevent us from getting the following: Poison Control, which we get from curing poison on 5 soldiers in a single mission, something we can't do without first building a medkit. We also can't get Edison or Skunk Works, which are obtained by finishing all research projects and completing every Foundry project respectively. Finally, without getting the regular achievement Prisoner of War, which we get for capturing a live alien, there are 2 more rare achievements we can't get. The first is Rising Dragon, where we have to take our ally into the final challenge. Second is Xavier, which we get from mind controlling an ethereal. Both of these can only happen later on in the game after we have covered the mandatory plot point of capturing an alien. This leaves us with 2 campaign achievements that in theory we can get without picking up a single regular achievement. Firstly, there's Flight of the Valkyries. All this involves is completing a mission with an all-female squad. Second is Wet Work, a more difficult challenge that involves us completing a very hard abduction mission in 5 turns or less on Classic or Impossible difficulty. Now that we know what we need to do for this challenge, we need to know what we can't do. There are some achievements we could easily pick up by accident. The first of these is And So It Begins. We get this for completing the tutorial mission, but fortunately we can toggle whether or not we want to do this mission in the main menu. The next 2 achievements are something we'll need to consider when we're out on missions. Welcoming Committee we get for killing 150 aliens, and Bada Boom is for killing 50 aliens with explosive weapons. Now I have no idea how progress for these achievements persists between save files, so if I start a new campaign, I'll have to assume that the kill counter will continue. Another achievement we'll need to consider during these missions is We Happy Few, which is for completing a mission without losing a soldier. This means before I complete a mission, I'll need to make sure that one of my soldiers is killed off before killing the last alien.
Good work out there.
Finally, doing just about anything in the base will earn us an achievement, so very little can be done here. Thankfully, one of the things we can do safely is to hire more soldiers, which will save us if we somehow don't have enough female soldiers for a squad. That seems like enough of a plan to get started, so jumping in, we begin by choosing Europe on Classic difficulty and start. The aim is to get both of these achievements very early on, so the bonuses won't really play a part here, so we may as well go with where I'm from. In this first attempt, it looks like we have 2 female soldiers. I'm fairly certain it's impossible to start with an all-female squad, so I can't go for Flight of the Valkyries here. But the first mission in any campaign will grant any soldier that gets a kill a promotion after, so I need to make sure the kills are distributed well. As this is my first attempt, I don't put a huge amount of thought into each of my moves. For now I'm just interested in getting a feel for how this challenge will play out. Unfortunately, in the very first enemy turn, 2 pods of aliens are revealed, and I know that the first mission only contains 2 pods. That means while I'm dealing with all the aliens here, I have to make sure at least one of my soldiers dies. The next turn summarises the basics of the strategy. Have the female soldiers take the seemingly safer shots, and have the males trigger overwatches and scout. However, this doesn't mean I won't use the male soldiers to get kills too, especially if it means I can get more control of the situation. Unfortunately, it isn't long before the aliens get their first kill on a female soldier, and this early on we may as well reset. My next few attempts have varying levels of success, but I inevitably quit all of them for one reason or another. Some end before they even start when I'm assigned a squad made up of mostly or completely by males. With each attempt though, I am sure to keep track of the number of aliens killed so far in this process. After a fair amount of blood has spilled on both sides, I realise up until now I've not been doing something very basic to save me a lot of resets. Because I've been trying to complete the game on classic Iron Man difficulty on my regular account, I completely forgot that I can just save here whenever I want and retry something if I don't like the outcome. Normally I wouldn't want to abuse such a cheap tactic, but I think in this challenge there are already enough restrictions as is. Even with my newfound ability to turn back time, there are issues I still can't avoid. Trying to find a mostly female squad. I think Xcom may need to re-evaluate their gender hiring policies. Okay, finally a mostly female squad, and a map that I feel pretty good about completing well. I take my time here moving around to try and get a good position. Even though the noise suggests that the aliens are in the other direction, I'm not confident I can take them well from where we are. After some careful pacing and a red herring camera turn to the right side of the map, the aliens finally reveal themselves, around where the sound was coming from. I spread my soldiers out a little bit before poking a head out to see where the aliens have moved to. Annoyingly, my first 2 female soldiers miss and are swiftly followed up by an overwatch kill from the 1 male soldier. I need to be careful now because there are at most 5 more aliens left to kill, and I really want each of my 3 female soldiers to get a kill. I attempt to avoid getting too many explosive kills by having my female soldiers fire at the sectoid, boosting the other to pick up 2 easy kills. Sadly, probability doesn't seem to be on my side here, and I end up swiftly giving up and taking out my frustration with a grenade kill. This takes care of the first pod, and I'm left needing to find the second pod and deal with it with my 2 remaining soldiers. It isn't long before I hear noise in the same direction as before. While I spend the next few turns setting up to deal with the last pod, I should explain what I hope to get out of this mission. As I already stated, any soldier who gets a kill in the first mission will get a promotion. In order to make quick work of the enemies in the next mission, a heavy's rocket launcher will be very valuable. To a lesser extent, an assault's run and gun ability would make it a lot easier to get around the map quickly. On the other end, a sniper will be basically useless this early on without squad sight ability. However, this last case isn't too concerning as I can always replace the sniper with another rookie. Getting back to the mission, however, we celebrate our male soldier's death and our next step into taking down the patriarchy by taking down the alien holding the roof. Once again, we spend a few turns setting up for the final kills, and once the location of the last 2 aliens is revealed, a single grenade is all that's needed by my final female soldier to finish up the mission. As we return to base, I'm pretty pleased with the results of our 3 soldier promotions. That means there's only a 25% chance that I won't get a heavy class. And of course I get every class except a heavy. So naturally I go to reload the mission and realise I forgot to save at the end, so I need to do a little bit more cleanup. Although things play out a little different this time, I once again end up in a position with the final 2 aliens in range. To try and stop my explosive counter getting too high, I try to get some kills with a rifle. And of course that achieves absolutely nothing, so once again I finish things off by blowing the last 2 aliens off the face of the earth. Finally though, I have some good luck as I get exactly the promotions I needed this time round. Now, I forgot to record what happened at the base between missions, but all I did was spend all available cash hiring soldiers to ensure I have an all-female squad. Then I progressed the hologlobe, rejecting all missions until I got a very hard abduction. I then reset my game multiple times until I got a particular map. That brings us to where we are right now. It's ladies' night in the construction yard, and our girls are looking to teach some catcalling aliens a lesson. Now, unlike the previous mission, I don't have time to carefully maneuver around the map for safety. This time I have the foresight to actually save the game and send all my soldiers out to scout to begin with. Now when I reload the save I should have a pretty good idea of where the aliens are, and hopefully I can complete the mission in under 5 turns. Even with a rough idea of the enemy locations, my next few attempts go fairly poorly. Eventually though I come up with a decent enough game plan to end this quick enough. Firstly, I know there are 2 thin men to the right hand side behind that large skip looking thing. It's close enough that I'm confident my assault soldier can sweep around there and deal with that pod alone. Next I position my heavy in the middle of the map so that she can fire the rocket launcher in any direction, and, as an added bonus, she picks up an immediate LMG kill on one of the aliens to the left. With 2 out of the 4 pods revealed in my first turn, I wait to see what the alien's next move is. The sectoid seems to have just given up, throwing caution to the wind and stands in the open, inviting me to finish it off. It isn't all good news however, because on the other side one of our women is about to make the ultimate sacrifice. Having a conversation with me. I mean, killed by a remaining thin man. Turn 2, I clean up the initial 2 pods and push further forward. The third pod is revealed during the enemy turn in what I believe to be a room in the back. On my third turn, as I have my support prepared to deal with those sectoids, the final pod is revealed to be on the second floor. As they scatter, I unfortunately lose sight of one of the sectoids, so I fire a semi-blind rocket hoping I can take out all 3 aliens, but it doesn't work out as I hoped. I end this turn moving forward a little in preparation of the final pod. Thankfully, the elusive alien re-emerges, but some chip damage on my assault class causes her to panic. Feeling bad for our heavy not taking out the sectoid previously, turn 4 sees our support finish the job. With a vague idea of where the final pod is and 1 turn remaining, the heavy moves in position to breach the room. Turn 5 will learn a very important lesson. Inhaling a poisonous cloud of gas is bad for your health. Evidence here by our assault class keeling over. The sacrifice isn't in vain however, as we still have 2 soldiers left with grenades, which should be all we need to finish up this mission. I take a moment to save however, as I am paranoid the aliens will now actually be outside of the building. Turns out this is the right call, as blowing up the wall reveals all 3 aliens outside, and spread out too far for my support to take all out in 1 turn. Knowing the exact location of the aliens this time, I revert my save and now throw my first grenade where I know the first 2 aliens are hanging out together. 1 hangs on thanks to it being boosted by the final alien, but 1 last grenade on the booster causes the boostee to go down too. And with that, I've completed a very hard abduction mission with an all-female squad, netting the 2 rare campaign achievements. I say campaign as there is 1 more possible rare achievement in Xcom's multiplayer mode. Now while in theory this achievement should be doable without collecting any regular achievements, I am terrible at the multiplayer in this game. That leaves me with 2 options. I can boost the achievement by using a second account, but this seems like a poor ending to the video. My other option is to simply play lots of games in hopes that I'm sure to win one eventually. My concern here, however, is I don't know if this will add to the explosive and generic alien kills progress, so I'm satisfied to leave it here with the focus being on the campaign achievements alone. So there we have it, XCOM with only rare achievements. I would like to try this kind of challenge with other games, so please comment with your thoughts on this idea. Thanks for watching.